living Jesus. Hallelujah. To God be the glory. You may be seated in his presence because he's always with us. Wash, what an honor and a privilege to be here in the midst of all of you. To welcome home Paschal Dike. A man who has met more presidents than any president in the world in 1 year. Any country president in 1 year. Who has enjoyed God's grace in that 1 year and counting. Who is so humble that we are all moved to tears by what we've seen on video and what he has displayed here this afternoon. The pleasure is truly ours to be here to celebrate you. God bless you. Vince Lombardi once said, and I quote, "I think you've got to pay the price for anything that's worthwhile. And success is paying the price. You've got to pay the price to win. You've got to pay the price to stay on top. And you've got to pay the price to even get there." Even Jesus had to pay the ultimate price for you and I. Mr. Paschal Dike, CEO, Excel 360 Plus, that I'm sure we're about to unveil very soon. My fellow guest speakers, whom we have learned a lot from this afternoon. I'm glad that I was able to be here to listen to both of you and learn from your wealth of experience. Now we know more about robots versus human beings, and hearing from the leadership media guru himself. We thank you for teaching us, ministering to us, and educating us. Also encouraging us. God bless you. Let me start once again to reiterate my congratulatory message to Paschal Dike for his efforts over the years, particularly his leadership activities that culminated in his becoming the 4th African, the 2nd black man, and the 1st Nigerian to lead the Junior Chamber of Commerce International, an organization that is in 124 countries and who celebrated 100 years of its existence during his tenure last year. After an exciting tenure, he is back with renewed vision, with renewed vigor. After being opportuned to have a first-hand experience of many prospects that are available elsewhere in the world, but which are lacking in our land. He has been exposed to a lot more than when he assumed office, and we are most delighted that he's committed to use his wonderful experiences to stimulate the minds of our youth to glorious ends. Congratulations once more, Paschal. It's a pleasure and an honor to have met you 4 years ago when I met you for the first time in Rio at the JCI World Congress. Now to the business of my time in your presence. Can the future really be secured? We need to ask ourselves, can the future really be secured? Some will say yes. Some may answer no. What is your take, even as you are seated there individually and collectively? I believe that the answer is yes, we can. The topic for today's discourse is securing the future the price, and the prize. This presupposes that everyone who is living and breathing, as long as you're alive, there's a future ahead of you. You can either walk aimlessly into the future, as some may do, or you can deliberately plan and prepare for that future. Benjamin Franklin, a founding father of the United States of America, once said, "If you fail to plan, you can help me finish it. You plan to fail." It is therefore absolutely necessary for everyone to make plans. I want you to ponder over the following questions. I'm going to ask you a lot of questions, and I want you to think about them in your heart. If you have not considered them before, today and right now is a good time to start. What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? Where do you see yourself in the future? In the short term, in the medium term, and in the long term of your future? What are your plans to achieve the dreams that you have for yourself? What must you do? Who must you meet? Whose door must you go knocking on? When do you plan for it to materialize? How prepared or unprepared are you? Why that particular future and not another? And lastly, what did God say? Did you consider the God factor? I will share with you some activities you need to undertake to secure your desired future. 1, set crystal clear and smart goals. And I know that by now, a lot of us already know the meaning of the acronym SMART. The S for specific, the M for measurable, and so on and so forth. The first price you must pay in the bid to secure the future is the setting of a clear goal, which must be written down. You must write down your clear goal. Even the Bible talks about vision. Vision in Habakkuk chapter 2, verse 2, where we are encouraged to write down the vision and make it plain. We must write it down on tablets. Gone are those days when the writings were done on tablets. Today, we do not only write on paper, but we write on our phones, as we learned earlier. That we may run with it. Whoever reads it, whoever writes it, must run with it. Meaning, don't rest on your oars. Make a note of it. Write it down so you don't forget. Keep it as your vision. Keep your eye solidly on it. And keep looking at it from time to time. What's a goal? A goal is not an intention, nor a mere wishful thought. Remember the saying, if wishes were horses, beggars too would ride. Wishing is the easiest thing. The very easiest thing in the world. You can sit there and wish all day. It is second only to not thinking at all. It takes hard work and a tenacious spirit to refine an initial thought or to distill a clear goal from a crude dream. Developing a blueprint for your life from that passing whim or flicker of hope is not for the faint-hearted or the laissez-faire individual. Learn to think it through. Learn to think through. Think, and continue thinking. Think through your ideas. Don't rush off with the first thing that comes into your head or into your mind. As you imbibe this habit, you'll get better and you will build a track record of an excellence for coming up with ideas. There are three main types of goals. One, outcome goals. And when I say outcome goals, these are goals that spell out how we want the end to look like. Determine what you want the end to look like before you start making your plans to be able to get to the end. For example, what are your aspirations? Is it that you would like to win a beauty pageant? Is it that you want to become a billionaire? I won't say millionaire. There are so many millionaires all over the world now. Your aim should now be billionaire. Do you want to own a school? Do you want to become a successful farmer? Do you want to become a wife and a mother? Don't forget, those are the best professions in the world. I hope the women agree with me. We just build on that to get to the next level. So, I would encourage you, there is a need to first and foremost make up your mind what you want to be, where you want to get to, and to begin to determine how you want to get there. So what are the process goals? That's number 2. What are your process goals? How do you intend to make it? As I said, you can't sit there wishing, hoping, dreaming. This is about the required behaviors to achieve the desired outcomes. For example, what are those disciplines you need to imbibe to achieve your aim? For instance, as a salesperson, I would have thought that a salesperson would want to acquire presentation skills, because you need to talk to other people, you need to convince them. And before you can convince people, you need to acquire some skills. One of them, which is major for a salesman, is presentation skills. How good are you at communicating? There are various methods of communication. You can communicate through the phone. You can communicate one-on-one, face-to-face, and you can communicate in writing. And as we know, we can communicate using the internet. What is the level of your negotiation skills? Are you a novice? Are you an intermediate? Or are you an expert? For example, I remember the days when we sat down in a family business meeting with those who were to be our technical partners. At the time, it was Texaco. It was us, the family, versus a guru in negotiation with a company as big as Texaco. The negotiator had gone to university specifically to learn how to negotiate. Negotiators have a lot of skills and a lot of that they have propped up in their sleeves that they will bring one at a time to catch you, to get you, to use you, and to manipulate you if you are not careful. Thank God that I'm a natural negotiator, being an Ijebu woman, and also being a woman by nature, that God has given the skills, natural skills of negotiation. I'm sure the men will agree. Praise the Lord. Then my next point is on learning and knowledge goals. Learning goals are about acquiring relevant knowledge or skills needed to secure your future. I'll give you another example. When we got into the oil business, we realized that none of our 4 sons had the requisite skills in the oil industry. And it was a time when our 3rd son was entering university. He wanted to study biology. And we sat him down. He was the only one that we talked out of studying the course that was in his own heart. And we talked him into studying geology. So how can we have an oil company and nobody in the family would have the requisite skills, the technical skills that is absolutely necessary within the oil industry, so that no matter what anybody else may be telling us, at least we'll believe what our son will be telling us. So we talked him into it. He didn't like it. He rebelled for the first 1 year. But he picked up, having talked some sense into him, and having gone to one of the very best universities in the world for geology or for engineering, the Imperial College in England. So to the glory of God, we had systematically and through his grace been able to get all our 4 sons prepared academically for the business at hand. The first one having studied economics in one of the best universities in the world. The second one studied law like his father, so that if we get into litigations, we wouldn't have to go knocking on doors. The third one who studied geology, and the 4th one who studied marketing, because we need to sell the crude. Yes? Is that not grace? To God be the glory. So you have to prepare. It's part of preparation. Otherwise, you'd be putting round pegs in square holes. And when you do that, you will fail. So we thank God for that. So what additional knowledge is required to be who you want to be? What additional knowledge is required to get to where you want to be? You need to make inquiries. You need to go on the internet. You need to go back to school sometimes. And you need to pick a specialized institution in your area of interest. Don't just pick any university. The one that's the best for what it is exactly that you want to focus on. So learn from the best. How can you make use of all that you have learned even up till now? How do you make use of it? 1, you need to get practical. Get practical. Start on a small scale. I remember when I was starting my fashion business, I started with 3 flat machines, industrial machines. By the time I left the fashion industry, I had so many machines that I'd even recently just bought 6 brand new industrial machines. That's between you and I. When I was leaving the fashion industry at the age of 50, I'm now 65, almost 66. Those machines are still in the boxes, unopened. I planned and I plowed back what I was making from the business. I kept plowing it back into the business and growing the business. So start small on a learning curve. Learn from your mistakes. And I would encourage you, no matter what you face, because you will face challenges, don't think it's going to be a bed of roses. Never give up. No matter the challenge that you face along the way, never ever you give up. In those major points, number 2, stay the course. Keep on at it till you attain your goal. Don't waver. Don't look back like Lot's wife. Don't deviate. Believe in yourself. Remain focused. Keep your eye on your goal. Don't forget all we've done so far. Rewinding. We wrote down the goal. And we have talked about how to achieve it. But it is time to start working towards it. Research carried out by the University of Cranton revealed that 92% out of those who write New Year resolutions do not accomplish them by the end of the year. And I can take an audit, even in this room right now. Can I see a show of hands? Those of you who in January 2016, apart from Paschal, who started January 5, 2016, we know where he ended. He finished, he ran the race, and he won the prize. The rest of you, your New Year resolution for 2016, did you achieve them all? Can I see a show of hands? No. I can't boast that I was able to achieve all of mine either. So we fall into that 92% already. Not so? So, from the analysis that was done by that university, only 8%, which Paschal fell in 2016, let's pray that he carries on falling into it. I don't know what his New Year resolutions for 2017 are, but God will give us all grace to be able to achieve our aims and objectives at the beginning of the year when we check our scorecards at the end of the year. So why is this? What is the reason that we fall short most times? There are many factors that are the causes. 1, negative circumstances. Negative circumstances. Some people have lofty dreams of what they want to achieve in life, but because of extenuating circumstances, they do not plan for. They experience a setback. They become frustrated and they give up ever so easily at times. Don't give up on your dreams. Life is not a bed of roses. And there's a saying that says, if life gives you lemon, what should you do? Make lemonade. Don't sit there sulking. Don't fold your arms. Don't throw your arms up in the air. It's not the end of the world. For God's sake, do something. Make lemonades. Life is full of uncertainties, and you must brace up to life to secure your future. I once met someone who said that he didn't go to school because his father died. But I also met someone who did not have the funds for school, but who became a steward in several homes and sent himself to school all the way to university. So, the choice is yours. It is for you to make that choice. Which one will it be? You're going to sit there sulking? My father died, so there was nobody to send me to school. Or you're going to brace up, pull up your socks, and roll up your sleeves and do something positive to get you where you want to be. Again, some say they've been delayed. But I say delay is not denial. How bad do you want to achieve your dream? What price are you willing to pay to get there? I can tell you my story in 2 sentences. I remember that the Nigerian government of the early 1990s decided that that government wanted to change the state of affairs within the oil industry and stop giving oil licenses to just the multinationals, but decided that they were going to turn things around for Nigeria's nationals and start giving licenses, oil exploration licenses, to indigenous oil companies. Little did I realize that it wasn't going to be easy. It wasn't going to be as easy as it sounded. The fact that the government wants to do this doesn't mean that it's going to be easy. It was full of challenges. It took 3 years to get the license in the first place. It took another 3 years to get technical partners. And altogether, before we could hit first oil, it took 15 years. Talk of tenacity. Talk of making up your mind to get to your dream, to achieve your aim and your objective. Did I give up? Do I have an answer? Did I give up? No. Certainly not. If you give up, your dream will fly away before your very eyes. If you stand firm and you say, I'm not giving up, whatever it takes, I'm going to see to the end of this. And the rest, they say, is history. B, lack of motivation and inner drive can kill your dream. When you have no motivation, when you are not motivating yourself, nobody has come to motivate you, but you yourself, you're not motivating yourself. You've allowed your dream to die just because of a challenge that you refused to stand firm to face. I remember during all these years, there was a time that we had to take the government to court to fight for our right. It took 12 years in court before we could get justice. I won't forget that date. It was a day to my son's engagement, our second son's engagement, that the court gave us judgment to right the wrong and the injustice that had been done to us by another government of the day. Sometimes an individual is not plagued by negative circumstances, but by lack of motivation and inner drive. There are times you will need to deprive yourself of leisure. There will be times when you need to deprive yourself sleep. There are times that you will need to deprive yourself of food. I remember many times when I had to fast for 40 days, endlessly, seeking the face of the Lord, growing in the Lord, looking for the Lord. There are times that you will have to deprive yourself of money and other essentials of life to accomplish your dream. And at this juncture, I'd like you to keep the word sacrifice in your minds for a few moments. I'll come back to it. Then also, you need to write down your compelling reason for wanting the goal. Write it with passion. Write it with feeling. Write it with energy. Write it with determination. Write it with a vision. Write it with zeal. And then you need to ask yourself another question. What will I lose if I don't achieve my goal? So what will you lose if you don't achieve your goal? I'll tell you the Serena Williams story. I'm sure a lot of you know it already. Serena Williams is currently the #1 female professional tennis player in the world. She has a beautiful story to tell. Her father has a wonderful story to tell about his girls. She has won 23 Grand Slam single titles and several Olympic gold medals. And in an interview with the Sun magazine, she says, "I hate working out more than anything, but I have to. When I'm running, I think about how much I want to win. That's the only thing that keeps me going." Did you hear that? She hates exercising. But because she knows that that's the only thing that will keep getting her to where she wants to be, she realizes that it is a must that she must do it, regardless of what she needs to suffer to get there. My third major point. C. Refusal or unwillingness to take risks. When you're unwilling to take risks, you have to remember that life is all about risk-taking. Mark Zuckerberg, chairman and CEO and co-founder of Facebook, says the biggest risk is not taking any risk. In a world that is changing very quickly, the only strategy that is guaranteed, I assure you, what do you think it is? To fail. Failure is guaranteed when you are not ready to take a risk. Life and living itself is a risk. When you wake up in the morning, there's no guarantee that you will get back home safely. I don't think any one of us walks to this hall. Many of us have flown in aeroplanes from one point to the other. We drive in vehicles. We ride on or in one thing or the other to get from one point to the other. There's no guarantee that anybody will get from point A to point B. But that does not make you sit at home in order to be safe. Should you then sit still at home and say, because I want to be safe, because I want to be sure that nothing will happen to me, I'm going to stay put? I'm not going anywhere. Nobody does that. So life is about risk-taking. You have to go out trusting God to take you back home safely. So it is concerning your dreams. You cannot afford to play it safe all the time. There's no business venture that does not have a possibility of failure. I'm not talking about taking blind risks, but counting the cost, weighing your options, and after you have done your due diligence, take the plunge. Do your homework, then face it and take the plunge. People who are risk averse are always looking for excuses not to take risks. They begin to shop for statistics to support their position. You begin to hear them quote some of the statistics I'm about to tell you. 1, according to the National Bureau of Statistics, over 22.5 million Nigerians are unemployed. So they'll say, so why do I need to spend so much money going to university, and then when I come out of university, there are no jobs? So I might as well not get education. I might as well stay put. Again, 8 out of 10 businesses fail within the first 18 months. I'm not the one that said it. Forbes said it. Forbes magazine said it. Forbes also said that only 24% of women ever get to senior management level in the entire world. They have facts and figures to prove it. Again, the percentage of divorce globally is increasing year by year. So some will say, I'm not getting married. I don't want to get divorced. So I might as well just stay single. Does that make sense? God wants us to be fruitful, and He wants us to multiply. By not getting married, you are already truncating one of the wills of God for your life. And Ecclesiastes 11:4 says, he who observes the wind will not sow, and he who regards the clouds will not reap. And I'll tell you a little story about Steve Jobs and Apple. In 1975, the 20-year-old Jobs and Wozniak set up shop in Jobs' parents' garage, dubbed the venture Apple, and began working on the prototype of the Apple I. To generate $1,350 in capital, which they used to start Apple, Steve Jobs sold his Volkswagen microbus, and Steve Wozniak sold his Hewlett-Packard calculator. At the time of his death in 2011, Steve Jobs' net worth was estimated at $10.2 billion. His estate was estimated to be worth roughly $19 billion in 2015. Even in death, Steve Jobs is still making money. This would not have been possible if he did not take a risk and sold his bus at the onset. We might never have heard of the iPod. We might never have heard of the iPad. We might never have heard of the Mac computer and all the other products which they continue to come out with from the Apple company. D, there are also the procrastinators. Those who will always sit on the fence and sit there wishing. And their favorite word is tomorrow. I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll be a billionaire in 5 years' time. But he hasn't even made 20 naira today. Let alone work out how he's going to make his first 1,000 or his first 10,000. He's sitting there wishing. There are people who are just mentally lazy, who are not ready to get up from where they are, to lift a finger, to even do anything. They just sit there, running their mouths, pretending to be achievers of the future. 3, never underestimate the God factor. My third major point. Never ever you underestimate the God factor. It is the God factor that brought me where I am today. When all else failed, I decided to enter into a covenant with him. And I said, Lord, if you will bless me, I will serve you all the days of my life. And Proverbs 3:5-6 says, trust in the Lord with all your heart. Do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge him, and he shall direct your paths. He's our chairman, he's our director, he's our leader, he's our encourager, and he's the one that speaks to us regularly. I'm a firm believer in that God factor because I'm a living testimony of his power. When all else failed, I experienced God turning a nobody to a somebody. There are people who medical science has even condemned to death, but God raised them from the bed of affliction. There are those whom the doctors have said they will never have children, and they decided that they were never ever going to believe the doctor's report, but they would rather believe God's report, and they ended up having children just because they trusted the Lord, and he showed up and he did that which only he can do, and he did that which only he does best. Therefore, whatever your dream, trust in God to bring it to reality, and he will not disappoint you. Hold on to Romans 5:5 that tells you about hope. That hope will not disappoint you because of the love of God that has been poured out in your hearts by the Holy Spirit who was given to you. In conclusion, everyone has the potential for greatness. Every single one of you in this room. Every human being has the potential for greatness, but the choice is ours. Life is full of ups and it is full of downs. Life happens to everybody. But success is achievable no matter the opposition you face. However, the difference between a winner and a failure is that the winner was willing and the failure was not willing. That's the difference between the two. Just as you saw the difference between the guy who said, "Oh, my father died, nobody to help me," and the one who rolled up his sleeves and he got going. The seed that you sow today will become the tree of tomorrow. And let me outline my definition of success. something for you to take away, and I'll give you copies of it before you leave. S, sacrifice daily to make a difference. Remember, I told you to hold on to your thoughts to that word sacrifice. I had analyzed some of the sacrifices that you need to make to be able to get to where you need to be. Go that extra mile. You utilize your time and talent. Time and talent wait for no man. C, consistently focus towards your goal. Only the tough get going when the going gets tough. The second C, credibility and reliability must be your watchword, because unreliable and irresponsible people always get ignored. E, educate and retrain yourself continuously. Ignorance can be expensive. The first S, say no to discouragement agents or to naysayers. Don't take no for an answer. And the last S, seek the Lord at all times. Believe in your God. Finally, I leave you with this quote from Leo Joseph Suenens, the Archbishop Emeritus of Mechelon, Brussels. Happy are those who dream dreams and are ready to pay the price to make them come true. Professor of Anatomy, Cambridge University, Bill Harris, once said, there is a price to pay to make the changes you want in life. There is also a price you are paying for staying the way you are. You have to weigh these two prices and decide what to do. Based on that comparison, and no one can do it for you. Check out that comparison and the fact that nobody can do it for you. You have to decide. You have to do it yourself. And lastly, Karl Hammer, the Austrian football manager, once said, if you don't pay the price for success, you will pay the price for failure. I will see you at the top. Thank you for listening. God bless you.